Hi again, I'm Scott with Indro Robotics, and I'm with Chuck Baresich of Haggerty AgRobotics. First of all, hi Chuck, nice to meet you.
Yes.
So tell me, if I didn't know anything about your company, tell me what Haggerty AgRobotics is and does.
So our company started as, we started as farmers down in southwestern Ontario. We cut our teeth with GPS systems and field computers. And using a combination of our long farming background, our love of technology, we take robotic platforms and we turn them into a solution for farmers. So what we do is farmers will come to us with a challenge or an issue that they're facing on their farms. We spend most of our farms or our time on outdoor field crops. So, uncontrolled environments. We will then assemble a platform and implements together and to turn that into a solution. And so sometimes the platform will already exist, and if it doesn't, we will make it. Sometimes the implement will exist, but if it doesn't, we will make it. And then we will take that solution, give it to the farmer as either a rental or a purchase. And with the hope that they will purchase that at the end.
And how did that transition come when you said you kind of cut your teeth on the early days of automated steering, that kind of stuff?
So one of the things that I think always annoyed me in the precision ag business is that there were lots of salespeople. And the salespeople would sell you stuff and it was kind of like, you bought it, now beat it. And there was a kind of a lack of understanding of how that machinery should actually be used, and so some of the knowledge that we gain and some of the development that we have done is to figure out the actual use case. Here's what that function is for. Here's what actually benefits you, the farmer. And we wanted to make sure that we brought that into the robotic space. We didn't want that to be left out. There are lots of very, very smart people, and I had people coming to me, in the space, and lots of smart engineers who have really, really good ideas, but who don't understand the challenges that farmers face. The farmers quite often, they only have one chance to plant their crop. They have one chance for weed control, and that has to be built into the robotics. And we want to make sure that would happen.
And sometimes, if I'm correct, you might take an existing robotic solution and perhaps even modify that further. Is that correct?
That's correct. We will do whatever it takes. We will make it wider, taller, change the wheels, change the motors, change the batteries, work with the software companies as much as we can. Some robotic platforms are more open to that collaboration than others, but at the end of the day, our goals are the same. We want to sell more robots. And so if it turns into sales, well then that's what we do.
And obviously there wouldn't be demand unless people were seeing some sort of return on the solution that you're providing. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think the demand is definitely there. We're seeing multiple challenges with both lack of availability of labor, the cost of labor, the existing practices, which a lot of it is chemical-based weed control, just not working. There are a lot of factors that are pushing the demand, and people are coming to us saying, I got this problem. What do you think? Is there a way to do it? And that push and that demand is only going to continue as time goes on.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a really fascinating business model. Sounds like you should have been an engineer or are one secretly.
Yeah, so I'm a farmer engineer with a stick welder and a pair of ice grips.
Nice. And I understand, Chuck, that you've also been in discussions with Indro. Tell us about that.
Yeah, what those discussions stem from is, how do we improve the robots over time? What technology is available, especially made here in Canada or developed here in Canada, that can make the robots smarter, faster, better. And we can take platforms that we already have and automate them. And so that's where that discussion came from.
Nice. So you might be talking about adding additional sensors to an existing product or otherwise enhancing its capabilities or brains.
Yeah, because often when the robot was built, the engineers at that time, they kind of had an idea. What they don't realize is the farmers have a very different idea. And so instead of, some of the robots we have no sensor capacity. Some of the robots we have they have a capability of one. Well, we need to have often more than one. An example would be like the one vineyard robot we're working with. We're trying to sense, the mowers that are operating. We're trying to measure the health of the grapevines that are going through. There are multiple things that have to happen at once. Well, that was never imagined when that robot was built. And so that's where, with Indro's help, we can hopefully integrate those into the system.
Automation and robotics seem to be not taking over, but they have really infiltrated so many different sectors of our lives. Do you see agriculture as being kind of one of the next big ones?
Well, I think agriculture has a lot of room for that. There's always been a lot of generational knowledge with agriculture, and that worked over the years because as people took over the farms, that generational knowledge got passed down. What's happening is the rate of consolidation of farms is not slowing down. So how do you multiply that knowledge amongst all of the farm family, the managers, the employees? And AI, technology, software, sensors, data is how we do that. We take what you might know as the farmer, and we can translate that across the operation. We can translate that into the machine, so that if you know that machine has to operate at a certain speed, at a certain rate, at a certain time, that machine will do that for you 10 times over. And it allows the farm manager to, again, multiply themselves and really improve the efficiency of that operation.
Listen, it's been a real pleasure, Chuck. Thank you so much and best of luck.
Great, thank you.